Hiya, I'm Vanessa King, and this is a reflection of how I use social media successfully as a professional journalist. So I've enlisted some important criteria you can use to measure yourself as a successful journalist on Twitter. So the first one is, are you engaging with your audience? Are they interacting with your tweets? Are you gaining retweets from it, likes? Are you getting replies? Are you running polls that your audience can engage with? Are your audience following your profile? This indicates a strong sense of interest in your work as a journalist. Are you reaching out to new people? Are you using relevant hashtags, tagging relevant users into tweets that maybe concern them? Are you following the right users that will aid your work as a journalist? Does your following list give you inspiration for new stories in the field of journalism you're interested in? As you can see there, that is my personal Twitter account. Since I joined in 2010, I've managed to produce about 20,000 tweets about my life moans, day-to-day activities, and just my genuine interest in the world. I choose and make a conscious decision to keep this account separate from my journalism work, as I don't feel like it would be very professional to talk about, say, like a double cheeseburger I'd just regret eating, alongside hard news coverage. I therefore have a separate professional Twitter account where I talk about current affairs, promote my work as a journalist, and try and engage with other journalists and publish my achievements. However, my first experience for social media as a journalist came when I was appointed online editor for Perception, which is our student magazine we produced in print journalism production. As part of this role, it was my job to run the social media accounts, and I paid particular interest to Twitter. This gave me first-hand experience in how to be a working journalist on the social networking site. And now I'm going to analyse the previous criteria I set before using the Perception account. So before promoting content on the Perception Twitter page, I ensured a bio was written so users of Twitter could see what the page was all about. So in this case, Perception is aimed at the young professional male living in the city of Manchester. I also made sure I had retweeted a handful of tweets to enhance the audience's understanding about the page. I retweeted things like house prices across the city of Manchester, the best place to see across the city, and like future beer festivals, stuff like the audience would have been interested in. I then followed a number of relevant accounts including City Life Manchester, Manchester Orchestra and Northern Quarter to boost my engagement and an attempt to gain Twitter followers and recognition from accounts that had like a similar audience to Perception. I found instantly gaining followers really difficult, and therefore I had to look for other ways to gain a Twitter following and impressions. I therefore ran polls that the target audience would engage with and used relevant hashtags to enhance the visibility of this content. Megan Knight suggested that social media users want to be involved with journalist content on the web, and this kind of indicates how successful a journalist is on the likes of Twitter. Many of our polls gained dozens of responses and attracted hundreds of impressions. What's important to recognise is that a lot of our tweets did not get as many impressions as our polls did. For this reason, I hold polls as a crucial tool for journalists on Twitter and is a function I will strive to use in whatever field of journalism I strive to go into in the future. As Twitter was used as a platform to promote our online articles for Perception, I ensured I was constantly plugging our content. However, I soon noticed an obvious correlation with more impressions being gained in the evening time compared to like early parts of the day, in the afternoon, and especially the morning. I soon discovered that 9 PM was kind of the prime time for audience engagement. Because of this reason, if I was to run a social media account again for my journalist work, I would attempt to publish my most important content in the prime time. I would also consider setting up a buffer account to schedule my least valuable content at less popular times of the day, and most important, distributed during the peak of time. I would measure which periods of the day are most unpopular for the audience using data analytics for Twitter, and then therefore enforce some sort of plan considering and my findings. To increase Perception's visibility on Twitter, I also made a conscious effort to hashtag relevant keywords and tag relevant people, restaurants and museums maybe, in the hope of gaining more audience impression. On the tweets we used to plug articles about dates for your summer diary in Manchester, I tagged comedian Joel Dommett, in which he retweeted. Dommett, who has over 250,000 Twitter followers, gave Perception more than 400,000 impressions for this tweet, including 80 likes. This highlighted to me that without using the whole resources that Twitter offer for journalists, opportunities like this often go amiss and you miss out on a lot of engagement that you can have with your audience. My plan for social media usage in reference to journalism in the future is to make sure that all my personal accounts are private. I was only talking to my lecturer Kevin Duffy today, who told me if 2 potential candidates came to him for a job in the future and they both had mirroring qualifications, both stood really good chance of doing the job well, then he would take it upon himself to look at the social media accounts to see who he wanted to get the job. This is not uncommon when getting like a professional job. According to Career Builder, 60% of employers look at candidates' social media to see who they want to take on the job. So I really should make my personal accounts completely private because of this. As a result of this, I would make sure I use my professional Twitter more to keep up the engagement. I reflect that consistency is key as a professional journalist on social media platforms. I would therefore aim to maybe at least post 3 of my own blog posts a week on the likes of Twitter and Facebook, so I can share to my audience and hopefully become more popular, which would obviously make you more successful as a journalist. I also plan to ensure I retweet and quote tweets on current affairs that have a real interest to me. This would increase my engagement with other journalists and also an easy function to show prospective employers I have a real interest in you, which obviously I want to go into in the future. I also aim to follow more journalistic figures that produce work in the field of journalism I'm interested in. I really want to go into regional journalism, so therefore I should maybe look at following journalists as the likes of like Elaine Wilcox, Mike Hall from Granada Reports. This will maybe inspire me how I should lay my own Twitter out in the future, and following accounts that I'm interested in will also give me more scope for my retweets and interaction on Twitter. Social media is changing the way journalists work, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds for it.